I'm Danielle with Put a Finish on It. If you're a writer looking for an editor, let me know. At the end of June, I had completed 50 books so far this year, so I'm really happy about that. And I finished 9 books in June. On May 31st, I had finished a book that I didn't really like all that much, so in June I wanted to pick up something light and fun, so I picked Bingo Brown and the Language of Love by Betsy Byers. This is the second book in the classic 80s Bingo Brown series, and I really enjoyed this. It's smart and fun and quick. Bingo is nearly 12, he's still got girl troubles and burning questions, and I highly recommend it. I followed that one with another middle grade novel by Betty Miles, another YA author who wrote in the 70s and 80s, and whenever I see a book by her that I haven't read, I'll pick it up. This one was called I Would If I Could, and it's actually set in 1938. About a 10-year-old girl who spends the summer with her grandma and is embarrassed that she still doesn't know how to ride a bike. The Great Depression, polio, and the Little Orphan Annie radio series give readers a sense of time and place, while the characters are believable and relatable. The next one I finished I'd been working on for quite a while, and I just missed making it into my May wrap-up. It is A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. Full disclosure, I don't read books about dragons, but my friend lent me this one and assured me that I'd like it even though it had dragons in it. I did enjoy the premise and the tone. A young bride loves dragons, even though it is not ladylike to do so, and convinced her husband to let her accompany him on an expedition to study dragons. And I liked the story until they actually go on the expedition. I just couldn't bring myself to care much. I'd rather the story have been about the woman and her husband, but he's actually barely in it, since it's supposed to be a memoir about the woman becoming a dragon scientist. Also, warning, it was sad. Then I read another 80s YA novel called Adorable Sunday, about an 8th grader named Sunday who starts making TV commercials. Life isn't all sunshine and roses at home or at school. This one wasn't anything spectacular, and the ending was a little abrupt, but if you're curious about what it was like to be a child star in the 80s, then this one's for you. Next, I pushed my way through Citizens Creek by Lolita Tatamy. Though I'm not usually drawn to Civil War era fiction, I thought I'd give this one a try. It's based on the true story of Cow Tom, the black slave of a Creek chief, and his granddaughter Rose. Cow Tom becomes a translator for the Union Army during the Seminole removal from Florida, initially buys freedom for himself and his family, and becomes a recognized leader among the Creeks. It's a fascinating story of a time in U.S. history that's not often written about. I knew nothing about the relationships between Native Americans and slaves before I'd read this novel. However, the fictionalized part of the story, the character development, the interpersonal relationships, just didn't work for me. Cow Tom does something that affects the rest of his life, you know, this moment that's a turning point in the novel, and then he keeps the secret for the rest of his life and passes it along to his granddaughter, who then keeps the secret, and it affects the rest of her life, and I just didn't buy it. After that 400+ page saga, I decided to pick up something light and fun again. How to Meet a Gorgeous Guy by Marjorie Sharma. Believe it or not, I've already read How to Meet a Gorgeous Girl. This one is about Sherry and her cousin Lisa. Lisa wants to be famous, and so she gets herself a job at a teen magazine. Sherry ends up being the average subject of her article. How does an average girl meet a gorgeous guy? Okay, yes, it's 80s and fluffy, but there's also some really fun and witty dialogue in here. If you're looking for something quick and amusing, read it. Next, I read the graphic memoir Fun Home by Alison Bechtel. This was lovely and sad and complex and dark, and I highly recommend it. I already posted a review of this book, so please do watch that if you're interested. Then I finally read The Help by Catherine Stockett. I really enjoyed this one as well, and I will be uploading a review of it in the near future. Finally, in June, I read The Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. This is one of those instances where I saw the trailer for the movie, thought it looked good, realized it was a book, and knew I should read the book first, so I finally gotten around to it. Unfortunately, I thought the book was just okay. The main character, Pat, has that sort of honest, earnest, almost childlike voice that mentally unstable characters often have. Maybe because he sees things so clearly or believes in simple truths. He has gotten out of the bad place, and a part-time with his wife Nikki will soon be over, and there will be a happy ending to this movie that is his life. Pat meets Tiffany, and their whole relationship unfolds with very little in the way of conversation between them, so we never really get to know Tiffany. And I just couldn't believe in their relationship. I found the last quarter of the novel anticlimactic. The big reveal of the events that Pat couldn't remember just wasn't that interesting, and there was way too much with the Eagles for this reader. All in all, not my kind of book. And those are all the books I finished in June. How's your reading going this summer?